Thanks so much for joining us. My first question is, what is the biggest takeaway from all your hard work here in DC with this report?
Yeah, in Washington, D.C., like around the country, but particularly in the district, gun violence is very costly. We know that the biggest cost is the loss of life, the maiming of life, but there are actually also direct costs to taxpayers. Even residents who are not connected in any way to gun violence pay the cost of it. There's a high tax burden, a high government cost for every single shooting that occurs in the district. And so obviously we have loved ones who are significantly impacted by the horrible tragedies of gun violence, but we have every resident who is paying for it.
Yeah, and that's something I don't think a lot of people realize. I mean, one shooting affects everybody in this city. What does a single shooting cost taxpayers in the district from your report?
So the National Institute for Criminal Justice Reform, we looked at every single direct cost when there is a shooting, when there is a homicide in the District of Columbia. And we also looked at those costs that we can specifically document. There's other researchers who will make this cost even more when you look at the indirect. But when we looked at the direct costs that we can document in the district, every homicide cost taxpayers $1.5 million, each individual homicide. And every non-fatal shooting when someone is hit but not killed cost the district just under $800,000 per every individual shooting. So it's significantly costly to taxpayers. And quite honestly, these are probably lower than what the actual cost is because we stuck to only that which we can make sure we can document.
You know, we're having a federal takeover here in DC. President Trump wants to reduce crime in DC. If we can reduce gun violence by, say, 20%, what would that save the district overall in cost, do you think?
A few things to consider here. Obviously, when COVID first hit, like the country, DC had a pretty significant increase in gun violence. And DC was slow to have a reduction versus the other parts of the country. And
Mhm.
so gun violence stayed stubbornly high. But in the last year and a half, there has been reductions, significant reductions in gun violence. And so the district can save those costs. And if the district continues to reduce gun violence, a 20% reduction in gun violence can save taxpayers nearly $180 million per year.
Mm.
Now, capturing those savings and reinvesting those savings is a significant process and undertaking, but can happen.
Let's talk about someone who's just shot and they survive. What's the overall cost per shooting when someone is injured in DC and not killed?
And there are more of those shootings that occur than there are homicides, significantly more. And so when someone is shot and they are on the street, there is a police response. There is on several levels. You have patrol, you have investigators, you have an ambulance, and often you have a fire EMT response. You'll have an ambulance go to the hospital. You have a hospital stay. You'll have hopefully an arrest in that case, a prosecution, an incarceration. You'll have government-funded outreach workers respond to that case. When you look at all of the government costs on a single incident, a non-fatal but injury shooting cost the district about $800,000, just under $800,000, precisely $783,000 per non-fatal injury shooting.
Let's talk about homicides. How much is the cost of a homicide in DC from your report?
Every homicide in DC, when we looked at the numbers in detail, cost taxpayers $1.5 million for each homicide. And it is clear that we wanted to focus on documented costs that we can share with residents of the district. It is likely that that cost is even higher, despite the sticker shock that I think many residents will have just on hearing the $1.5 million per incident cost.
And again, what's the biggest takeaway do you think for people here, taxpayers here, victims of violence here, should take away from your report as they take a look at it?
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think one of the biggest takeaways for to this research is that homicides and gun violence is very costly. And if we have effective intervention that can reduce those costs, it can be a significant savings to taxpayers, and we can reinvest those captured savings back into the community.
David, thanks so much. Terrific report, a lot of insight, and we appreciate all your hard work.
Absolutely. Thank you, Scott.